important part of the story of Flight 93. The four flights which would be hijacked from September 11th, 2001, United 93, United 175, American 11, and American 77, are scheduled to take off around the same time.
Flight 93, it was fully loaded, taxiway from the ground area there out to the runway, getting ready for its clearance for takeoff at 8:01, but it was delayed.
When Flight 93 leaves the ground at 8:42, the flight is now running more than 25 minutes late.
Now those on the right side of the aircraft, if they'd been looking out their windows there, they would have had a perfect view of the Twin Towers out there. They would make their left-hand turn. If they'd been delayed 4 more minutes, they would have seen Flight 11 as it was flown into the North Tower.
It's 8:52 here in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know anything.
Anyone watching TV that morning? Do you remember what we were told? Yeah.
Right now we're getting information, Al, that it was a small commuter plane, and of course we'll let people know as soon as we have more information as to what actually caused this, and of course on everybody's mind who might have been hurt.
Flight 93 continues to head west to San Francisco. At 9:03 a.m., Flight 175 strikes the South Tower of the World Trade Center.
Now we as a nation know we're under attack, but we're not quite sure what to do. Meanwhile, Flight 93, it's reached its flight level, 35,000 feet.
At 9:19 a.m., United Airlines begins to send out text messages to pilots. Beware any cockpit intrusion. 2 aircraft in New York hit Trade Center buildings.
Later at 9:28, Cleveland Center hears a mayday call. Somehow the terrorists have breached that cockpit door.
The crew and passengers start making calls at 9:30 a.m. The passengers and crew soon learn the shocking news from these phone calls that other hijacked planes had struck the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. With this knowledge, the passengers and crew take a vote.
And the vote is they're going to try to take this aircraft back. And a short 29 minutes from when this aircraft is hijacked, these strangers, by and large, are moving up this narrow cockpit aisle, up to the cabin doors.
The plane was passing over Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania by this time.
Now, once this aircraft had been hijacked, they turned this aircraft from that 270 heading, and they picked up a heading of 120. Now that heading was taking them to Washington, D.C.
To stop the uprising, the terrorists piloting the aircraft began to roll it to the left and right.
Till with about 15 seconds from impact here, the terrorist pilot puts this aircraft into a 30-degree bank, and then that goes to 60, and then it goes to 90.
The plane crashed belly up, and so the luggage flew. Part of the plane was driven 40 feet down into the ground. Parts of the plane were flown over these hemlock trees.
You know, Todd and the other free people on the plane that day, as Sharon said, they weren't in the military, they weren't soldiers, they didn't get up that morning to go to war, but they encountered it, and they became soldiers for that brief period of time, and they took the action. They launched our first counterattack in this war in our homeland, and it was a victory.
While the area surrounding the crash site remained closed during the investigation, impromptu memorials developed at road intersections near the site, near the investigation command post, and in Shanksville Borough.
Driving out here, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I just felt like it was something I should be a part of. And the fact that when we drove up here and we stopped here, I thought we should keep driving. I mean, it's kind of just like a small memorial. I don't think it really does justice for the 40-some people that gave their lives, and the fact that this is their final resting place that they didn't choose for themselves is a pretty big deal, and I think we should do something in memory of them.
The question worth reflecting on is this: are there things worth sacrificing for? Are there things worth dying for? We live in a time when a lot of people tend to be pretty focused on what makes them comfortable, what makes them happy. But there are a few among us who say, no, there are things that are worth sacrificing for. There are things that are worth giving for. Service to our fellow man, protecting the life of someone in need, fighting for what this nation represents. What I think is most important is take the time to talk to a child about it. This sense of patriotism doesn't come in our DNA. You have to pass it on. You're not born with it, but yet you're taught it by your parents and your coaches and your church leaders and the people that inspire you. Each generation needs to learn what it means to be an American.
So I started this by saying that I'll never forget where I was on September 11, 2001. But that it makes me happy to see youth here, because one day I won't be here. And one of them will be standing here in my place telling the story. Because again, it's a story that shouldn't be forgotten. It's a story that needs to be told.
The days after 9/11, the Halo Foundation got active in making sure that the country and our youth don't forget some of the facts and specifics of that day. And not only just to remember, but to take action with young people. 93 cents for Flight 93. What a concept. Something everyone could afford to get behind. And so we certainly are thankful for the Halo Foundation, Sharon and her gang of young people and her board, and we wish for them only the best and ongoing blessings as they carry on, for just the next decade and the one after that. Have a great evening, and thanks to the Halo Foundation.